You're watching SBA Today. With all the latest news, stories, and advice, here are your hosts, Paul Long and Tonya Mazurek.
And welcome to SBA Today, sponsored by SBA Collective for the week of August 24th. I am Paul Long, joined by...
Oh, Tonya Mazurek. Slow news week, right, Paul?
You know, nothing happened. I get really tired of these slow news weeks. And then I get hit with a big one.
That's what we get. That's what we get.
Well, hey, Tonya, have you heard the term ICAP before?
Seriously, I could pretend like I had, but I'd be lying. No.
Good. Okay. Well, ICAP is the name of the new E-Tran. So a new name that we get to know on this. They redid their secondary market process for all of you back office nerds like myself. They redid that system and they're using this new system to do it. It looks, if you've ever been and done like 1502 reporting or anything like that, it kind of looks like that. It's kind of got that kind of flow. But it's cool. So I look forward to seeing what they do on this. So,
and Paul, do you feel like really smart because I said no? You want to hear something funny?
I did not.
I did, but I wanted to let Paul have his moment.
Oh, please! I don't need a moment. I don't need a moment. You knew, you knew.
Yeah.
So apparently this week, and I'm sure there was no warning about this at all, that we've never told you that a new SOP is coming on this show multiple times. Well, baby, it dropped. And as a nerd, I spent a lot of time this weekend going through it and nerding out on it, and you get the benefit of that because we are going to go over all the fun, cool changes. So sit back, relax, grab your coffee and a scone, and let's see what happens. So the amazing news is the original was 467 pages. We are now 416. That's 51 pages have disappeared.
It's crazy though, Paul. How often has it ever gone backwards?
True.
Backwards in the number of pages. However, that does not, people, mean it's simpler.
No, it does not.
They may have made a lot of appendixes.
They did move everything, a lot of things to appendixes, change of ownerships, debt refinance, rates, collateral. So they kind of clamored those and put them into appendix. So that's interesting on there. Also keep in mind that this starts October 1st. It is August 25th. You're like, August, September, October. I got all the time in the world. Wrong-o, bucko. You know you don't. You have 30 days to get your E-Tran authorization, or you are subject to these rules.
You know what's crazy?
What?
They really could extend that out. If you think about it, like if they're going to change big rules like this,
but they won't.
No, because why not have everybody scramble between now and then? Because you know this is what's happening amongst everyone, that they're scrambling with things that no longer is going to be eligible come October 1st.
What? We won't have. No, everyone's going to follow the rules and be like, sorry, right? Well, let's dig into this. Tonya, start us out.
Yeah, MARC loan. Okay. Paul puts in his notes. Here is what Paul found. So I'm going to say, here is what Paul found, because Paul spent the entire weekend line by line. His wife was like, come eat. He's like, no, I must do this.
No, must SOP.
Okay, the MARC loan line is here to stay. No kidding. Okay, it's been around for a minute, guys. It's just now currently in the actual SOP. I actually think with this, it's kind of like saying buying a business and operating a business are two different funding needs. Well, no kidding. We've all seen somebody buy a perfectly good company, right? And then struggle 6 months later because what happens? Oh, the HVAC broke, the inventory grew, payroll hit, didn't have money for all that. And there's no room to breathe. Working capital isn't the afterthought. Really?
Right.
It's part of whether the acquisition survives. The other thing, though, I still have a concern with this, Paul, because I still have asked so many people, and so many still are not participating in the MARC.
Correct.
So great, it's there, but people need to start actually participating in it. Anyway, nothing added
I
about
agree with
just
you.
saying, nothing added about the working capital pilot program. Still the pilot program. New in Chapter 3, manufacturing, NAICS codes 3133. That's been around.
Yep.
Wholesale, NAICS 42, except for automobile and other motor vehicle merchant wholesalers or wholesale trade agents and brokers. Food supply chain, got it, NAICS 11. So all of these are, they've already been around because of different things that's come out. They're just now actually added into the actual SOP itself.
I think they're going to add more to these as time goes on. More NAICS.
More NAICS, yeah.
That's my
I
vote.
Yeah, I agree with you. Franchise, if they're not on the directory, no loan. Now, doesn't this remind you, doesn't this just sound like we're going back to the 50-10-6?
Yeah.
Because it was the same
Yeah.
daggum
Good
thing
point.
back then, and then they just took it away. Anyway,
Yep.
remember some franchises have multiple agreements, so make sure one or more are on the list. I wanted to ask you about this, Paul.
Yeah.
Let's say it's like Auntie Anne's Pretzels or Jamba Juice, right?
Right.
So let's say they're under the same umbrella, the same franchisor. What if Auntie Anne's is on there, but not Jamba Juice?
No Jamba Juice for you.
Well, then why does it say one or the other?
I'm sorry, one or more. So if you have multiple brands, then you must have, everyone must be on there. So if in this case,
I was like, huh?
like we just did a Jamba Juice and Auntie Anne's Pretzels combined in one location.
Oh, got it.
So we had to make
Both
sure
in
that
that. Okay.
both were on the list
Okay. Yeah,
on there.
that makes
So it just,
that makes more sense. I was like,
if
huh?
one's not, and trust me, if one's on there and it's under the same mothership, the other one's on
We're
there.
good.
But
Yeah.
you got to check.
Gotta check. Like I said, it just takes me back to 50-10-6. Eligible expenses related to education, advisory services, or fees paid by the applicant to an agent are not eligible prepaid expenses and are not considered equity. I mean, what do you think is going to happen? They're just going to start adding them into the loan. They're going to be using their prepaid for different things, but it's just how you're divvying it up. Recognize that in advance, don't you think, Paul?
Well, I've had people say, hey, I've had this advisor help me. Can we add this into the loan, etc.? My answer has always been no, but it's been clarified in this SOP.
Exactly. That's a lot of what the SOP has actually gone and done, people. Okay, major. Want to refinance debt used for changes of ownership. This is really big, actually. It has gone from 24 months to 36 months. So meaning if the seller has carried a note for any length of time and you've gotten a loan on it, that seller now has to carry that note minimum, they have to carry the note minimum 3 years. You cannot refinance that debt for 3 years versus 2 years, which is what it was previously. Which is a big deal. You guys better be like making sure that when you go to the
seller notes
negotiation table,
slowly decline.
Oh yeah. So it matters now because it matters prior to closing versus 3 years later. Let's see here. Merchant cash advance. They moved this a little bit. Sales-based repayment agreements. Merchant cash advances are only eligible for refinancing if the original agreement has been converted to a term loan.
No,
in advance, mind you.
That's one part.
In advance, mind you, has amortized for at least 24 months.
But then also you have the line period, so it's actually longer than 24 months.
Ooh,
okay, keep going.
Good point. And no additional agreements have been implemented since the conversion of the prior agreements. Interesting.
That is going to kill most deals. Boom.
But it sounds like we're giving more leeway there, Paul, though.
And you know what? They got pressure on that. You know damn well they did.
Well, they got pressure, but yes, it's changed. And is it?
Yep. True.
Okay. If sales-based repayment agreement is still active, it is not eligible for refinancing. Factoring agreements still not eligible for refinance. And notes being refinanced. Notes being refinances and security agreements. Anyway, Yeah.
Make sure you get both of
Those
those
nice.
for your
Yeah.
file.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's talk
Crazy.
business
Interesting.
acquisitions. This is the big one.
dude.
Okay. Here we go.
Breathe.
I know, right? What's interesting is the first paragraph in this appendix states, given the change of ownership transactions have grown to be amongst the largest category of 7A lending. I think we all knew it, but we never really saw it
Yeah.
in writing.
Yeah.
Clear guidance is provided through this appendix. All right. So let's go. Number 1, quality of earnings, QOE, is $3 million purchase price, not loan amount, purchase price. So now we're going to have the home of the $2,999,999 business for sale.
Yep.
Count my words, you'll see that. And the debt service coverage must be calculated on that report. Big. Okay. So you need to still look at the financials, but the decision needs to be on the quality of earnings. You can finance the fee as a part of the loan, thank God, because they're brutally expensive. I've heard, I haven't done one in decades, to be honest. I think they're like 20 grand, aren't they? On a side note,
really pricey. One of my previous loans this year had one, and Oh, well, and it needs to be ordered by the bank people. It's not like you can have one that you ordered prior.
Correcto.
Definitely bring that guy up because, here's what I think is going to happen, right? Because this is going to add to what we always tell businesses in general, Paul, right? We always tell them you need to get your books in order well in advance of when you're selling them. This is kind of going along with that because your numbers got to match, man. Anyway, keep going. Sorry.
Seller earnouts, buyer rebates, they made a little bit of changes. Seller earnouts are prohibited. That's not shocking to anybody. However, this is new. Buyer rebates based on business performance are allowed because it benefits the borrower. Yay. And if the borrower receives payment based on the rebate from the seller, those proceeds must go towards the 7A acquisition loan, not anything else. So does that mean to me, if I have a seller note and if I don't hit it, it goes away?
Or drops or whatever.
It doesn't go away. It needs to go towards the loan. So this is something I have additional questions on when we do the call. But think about it. You do a seller note that's based on if you don't hit XYZ in number, right? Then there's the forgivable part of a seller note.
Exactly.
Reread this.
So the way I was reading this, though, is yes, if the buyer is getting actual cash back in some respect with that,
receives
not.
Oh, you
That's
win.
how I
You
read
win. No, thank God.
That's why we do this, because I'm sitting
That
there
is
going,
correct. And you get to watch as this goes on because today there's the SBA call. Nagel's having one, all this. But again, I like to jump ahead. If the borrower receives funds based on a rebate from the seller. Okay, you win, Tonya. Thank you. That's why you're awesome.
There's something behind this blonde hair. Paul just doesn't like to admit it.
I just thought it just sinks through. This one, thank God. New owner transition period extended from 12 months to 24 months. Can I get a hallelujah? Hallelujah. That I think is wonderful.
It is.
Why would you not? Why would you not? So
does it help? It helps the borrower, it helps lenders, it helps risk, it helps customers, it helps the transition. Think of all these relationship-based businesses, people. Come on now.
Yep. Agreed.
Give me a break, right? Just helps everybody. So why the heck didn't they do that prior?
Okay, this one is going to get fun because what they did is they took all the different types of changes of ownership and threw them in 4 categories.
We like confusion.
Here is the number one thing that I picked up on all this.
Okay.
90% of business acquisitions now require the person to be a co-borrower and not a guarantor. In 90% of these cases. So start getting in the habit of adding as co-borrowers rather than guarantors on the human being who's buying the business. Now let's dive into this.
Now, why are
Is
you
there
saying
some
90%? What's the 90%?
90, like most
Okay.
businesses, most.
Well,
Sorry.
we just want to clarify that most, because
Oh,
you
yeah,
know how
yeah, yeah.
last time
Sorry.
somebody came back and said, what do you mean about 500? I'm just
Right.
saying the majority.
Correct. And for those who are like, well, yeah, co-borrower, guarantor, it doesn't matter, who cares? Because I've heard it. You should care. A guarantor, it's secondary liability. I'll promise to repay if the business can't. I promise. We all know promises. Co-borrower, on the other hand, is directly and primarily responsible for the repayment of the loan. There's more meat and more legal grab for repayment. So words matter. So keep that in mind.
They go after one first, they go after the other second.
Right. Guarantor was second. Now it's your asset first.
On the line.
Yep. Okay, here's your 4 categories.
Yeah.
Initial acquisition. You are not an existing owner of the business. You don't know anything about the business. You are a third party buying a business. It's the majority of what we do, right?
Yeah.
That's called the initial acquisition. Again, words matter, so keep this in mind. Number 2, business expansion. Existing business, buying a competitor.
Yeah.
In the same NAICS code. So,
well, not the exact same. You got to make sure it's the industry. Isn't it the last 4?
Mine, I saw it as same NAICS code. That was the word used.
Okay, somebody let us know. I was thinking it was the.
Yeah, call us out if we're wrong.
I don't know.
But here's the deal. So how I read this too is, let's say you're a plumbing company and you're buying an electrical company to add to your overall world. That is not an expansion. Because it's not the same NAICS code.
And think about it. It really kind of is, though. Or like we have been able to see that up until this point. I mean, it would make sense, right? They're working together. They're side by side. It's both the same subs. They work with the same people. It's just expanding. Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
See, well, once you start digging, it gets really fun.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, owner buyout. Usually a stock sale where one owner remains in place, and that owner guarantees, not co-borrowers.
Yeah.
Co-borrows. Sorry, I'll speak English today. And they guarantee the loan regardless of the percentage. So, Tonya, you are buying 100%, and I'm going to keep 1% of my business. I guarantee the loan. Uh-oh.
For how long? Let them know how long.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
That hasn't changed, guys. 2 years. But thank you, Tonya.
Anyway.
If you're not employed by the business, okay, the new owner cannot be more than 49% owner. The seller must remain in controlling interest. This is new and interesting. I like it, frankly, from a risk standpoint. But they can't control the business if they're buying in and you're not an employee of the business. If you are an employee of the business, then that rolls out.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can do that. And then there's, to make things complicated, which, by the way, because again, I'm a nerd, I created a flow chart of this, which I will happily post on my LinkedIn that shows. Okay, ChatGPT helped me with it. But anyway, so there's 2 subcategories under the owner buyout. I knew this wasn't going to be good on a podcast. You have existing buyer, 100% takes over the person's interests. that other person's the seller's going to need to guarantee for 2 years.
Yep.
Okay. Partial change of ownership. The other person must also guarantee the loan, not co-borrow. And if the buyer already has ownership and the increasing the percentage of that, here's the interesting piece. This is where it gets really icky. And I'm gonna slow down and talk about this. If the buyer already has ownership, okay, Tonya owns 25%, I own 75%.
Of course you do.
And okay, fine. Tonya, you own 75, I own 25, whatever. And other owner, and you are whomever, I don't even know who the hell's on first anymore. They need, the bottom line is this. I don't care your percentage, I'm taking Tonya's house. Good luck with that conversation. Yeah. And of course, we talk also about multi-step partial changes of ownerships not being eligible, blah, blah, blah. We talked about that. And then number 4, because we're not going to go in today, because that could be like 12 podcasts. And that is ESOPs and co-ops. I'm not going over those. It's like less than 1% if we actually do this. The SOP, hey, Shem. The SOP does now include the parentheses 4-digit. Oh, okay. Thanks, Shem. You win. Laser eyes.
I told you. I was like, okay. That's only 4 digits, dude. Thank you, Shem, for making me right again. Holy messing. It's because he wasn't drinking enough coffee while he was reading page by page, 417 pages.
Right. And I made an error. Get over it. Oops. All right, Tonya, this one you were griping at when we first started.
Oh, wait. Oh, ha! Yes, I was. Oh, my God, y'all. Yes. And I've got some numbers for you, right? Commercial real estate and business acquisition, big changes. I mean, this is big, big changes, both for us lenders, for risk, for SBA, as well as specifically for you borrowers out there, right? No more of the days of, oh, at least it's 51% commercial real estate, so I can make the entire deal 25 years. Yeah, nope, not anymore. Yeah, the big okay, it sounds technical until you turn it into a payment. Same purchase price, same business, but if more of the acquisition is effectively sitting on a 10-year allocation instead of writing a 25-year term, it changes it big time. Annual debt service can look very different. Borrowers won't fill the SOP page number, they'll fill the payment. And I did some numbers because I just want everybody to really pick up on what this exactly means, right? So if you have a $5 million SBA loan, and I didn't do exactly 51%, but let's say $2,750,000 of it, more than 51% or more, right, is commercial real estate. The other $2,250,000 is actually the business acquisition itself, right? Previously, we could do the entire loan amount at 25 years. So let's say it's an 8.25% interest rate at 5 million over 25 years. That payment, guys, would be $39,422, right? Oh, no. The way we have to do it now is you got to split those up. You can either split them up into 2 separate loans, of which the CRE would be, a 25-year, and that would be a payment of $17,718. The Business Act piece would be $24,979 for a total $52,697. Now, if you went and did it the other direction that they give us the opportunity to do, which is full-time, all the time, we got to blend it, right? If we're going to go the blended rate, that'd be 18 years, and that payment would be $44,507. So this is a difference, people, for our borrowers and for that bottom line debt service coverage ratio number that we're all looking at that now changes automatically just because of this rule when you think about it, right? And that's that could be like a 13,275 difference just because of the different way that we have to potentially structure it. That's a big deal because a loan that maybe was okay there when it came to the debt service coverage ratio might now not qualify because of the change in this. So that's a really big deal. Well, it better be a dadgum good business there Yeah. Anyway.
Cash flow, baby.
Yeah. Flow.
Yeah, that's a
Lenders
big
need
one.
to look at the equity based on project cost. That's everything that goes into the business. Thought we always did. Equity.
Well, you think you always do until you hear people that do it on the loan. And then I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? I hear it all the time from other institutions. I'm like, the project cost.
Well, maybe okay. So maybe that's maybe if that's how if it's not the eligibility piece that it used to be, right? Of doing it on the
Mhm.
project costs, and maybe they're just adding equity. Fine, you can do that on whatever you want to. If it's just the bank choosing
Yeah,
to add
totally.
equity, that's not SBA. But SBA was always very specific on project cost. Just saying. All right, project cost. Equity,
Equity.
external capital. So, for transactions involving external capital coming in, the lender must underwrite and review the terms of all other debt and equity investments for purposes of change of ownership. Any transaction not involved an owner receiving shares in the business in exchange for cash or other contributions would be considered equity investments. Okay, got it. Example, investor A. Investor A comes in, gives the company 500,000 and receives 20% ownership. Got it. We all understand this is considered
Yeah.
equity investment. An owner contributes equipment worth 100,000 and receives additional shares. This is also equity investment. All right. Well,
Clarification. Yep.
wait, clarification is good.
Yep.
Clarification. Got it.
And still remove
Uh,
51 pages. That's efficiency. Anyway.
I think it's good. I think it's good. Make it easier. 10% for all except business expansion and owner buyouts. The lender may reduce or eliminate this. This one gets a little interesting. You have to really read this close. Okay.
Yep.
The lender may reduce or eliminate this requirement if they have determined that the borrower has sufficient liquidity and working capital to sustain operations following the transaction. Now, the funny thing with that is, weird. Okay, so we can take away the requirement for the borrower to bring in equity injection. However, if we do that and they don't have post close liquidity, whatever, we can't give them working capital.
Ah. Uh-huh.
Don't you love how some of these let's see. So I wouldn't describe 8.1 as simply tougher. It's strong existing business may actually have more flexibility than a first time buyer. And I like the logic of preserving liquidity when the borrower can support it, but leaving cash in the and leaving cash in the company is safer than forcing every available dollar into the closing just to say we met the injection number. Well, yes, that's true. But again, know what you're getting into when it comes to that because I think prior we were able to give the working capital, then we'd have the post close liquidity. Some would even see the working capital as post close liquidity, just dependent upon the institution
Mhm.
itself. So this is just getting a little bit more nuanced, I think.
30.
Uh, when eliminating the equity requirement, lender cannot include permanent working capital. Got that. 7A term loan request within 90 days. Okay, so that's something too. So I guess after 90 days, you can go back and take a peek at it, but within 90 days, you cannot. Any working capital necessary to support the transaction must come from existing cash or a line of credit. Maybe the mark that nobody seems to be doing. Just saying. Uh,
Keep having an opinion.
okay, everything that we say on here is an opinion.
Yeah, good point.
Just
Good point.
FYI. To qualify, let's see here. Yeah, anyway, enough of that one. You go on to
All
the
right.
equity because I think this is
Now, sources of equity. Cash, duh. Personal loans, got to have the outside payment. That's in there.
mhm.
Grants. You really don't have if they can't have any sort of repayment or clawbacks during the term of the loan. Interesting.
I know.
And that whole remember 5% to get your 10, that actually still is in play. But the debt has to be on full standby, which don't know a lot of people that can do that. But at least it's now 10 years rather than 25. But those payments can accrue interest and just not have payments. This one gets a little detail on this one, yet really important. Non-controlling minority equity investments. Okay. I'm going to give you a bunch of money for 2%. Okay. to be considered eligible equity. The investment may not be subject to any agreement to repay or make distributions to recover. Aha. This is Mr. Wonderful stuff. To qualify as a non-controlling minority equity investor, the investor must have less than 20% equity in and no control over the operating business. Okay. Distributions to that investor are not made solely on the purpose of are not made solely for the purpose of satisfying the investor's tax obligation.
And they're not there. Yeah.
Attributable to the business's income are prohibited until this is a podcast. I've already lost you. I guarantee it. So,
well,
read this section, because when you have these little third parties that come in, you really have to understand this section. So please look at the equity section when it comes to that.
So you mean we can't call something equity and then structure it,
right?
So the cash starts getting sucked back out as soon as.
And as we can, what
about preferred stock options now, Paul?
I don't remember.
Because remember, preferred stock options, that was the same thing. It was equity without ownership, but they were
getting. Yeah, you can't do that, can you?
Well, you could. I need to go and dig deeper on that, because this is saying the opposite of that. If
there
they
was something about preferred equity. I remember seeing the word preferred equity somewhere on there, and I want to say it was towards a no, but
yeah, I got to go back and look at that then, because that's something I did not look at, and this just brought it to mind, because I've used preferred equity a few times.
Got it.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right. Final section. Hang on. Yeah, we're at 31 minutes, but a lot of good stuff. Underwriting clarifications. This is very clear that we must talk about the principal's involvement on the daily on-site management of the business. How are they going to do daily operations? If they're not, we need to understand if there's a management agreement. Okay. Yeah. Common sense says we put that, but it's now written that we do that. Okay.
I wonder why. How many people didn't use common sense? Just saying.
What? Stop. This one I thought was interesting, and I had to read it like 5 or 6 times to make sure that I got it right. We also need to start asking for, if you don't already, the P&L and balance sheet for the last tax year.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, I got a tax return. I'm good. No, you need to have your interim, because you don't have a tax return, and you need a P&L and balance sheet from the previous year that you have a tax return on, because you need to check to see how far off they are. And finally, debt service coverage. You all heard it, and now here it is. This is big, and I really think is going to kill some deals, which I think is okay. Which I think is okay. But to qualify, either the last fiscal year end, aka tax return, or last full year, or an average of the last 2 years in statements on a historical or adjusted basis. So 1.25 is the magical number. Okay. Unless you're a business expansion, which is 1.15, which actually makes sense. Okay. So really, gone are the days of projection-based business acquisitions.
But it doesn't exactly mean, guys, that projections aren't important. We're still going to look at projections. We still need the projections, just can't really underwrite to the projections.
Correct. We now have to put the debt service coverage and global into the SBA system, aka E-Tran, ICAP, whatever you'd like to call it. Global still remains 1-at-1, but they made it very clear any required draws or payments need to be inside of that. And they clarified, when you do projections and you don't have assumptions, but you don't have projections, because how in the heck I can make up numbers too, just like the best of you.
That should have been always.
Agreed, but they clarified you must talk about the adjustments in the cash flow. And if you don't have lender supporting analysis, you are SOL.
And we're not saying legitimate add backs disappeared, guys. Legitimate add backs haven't. We just have prove them now.
Tell the story. Exactly. And then just as a friendly reminder, regardless of dollar amount, you must have projections on a business acquisition. I don't care if it's for $100,000. You got to have it. Was that fun, everybody? I know, exciting. And you're going to sit on a couple other calls, I'm sure, this week. And so we'll come back with more information or further clarifying.
There'll probably be a ton of different interpretations out there. We are not saying we are correct. We're just putting it out there what it is, throwing our little opinions.
Yeah, because we got Shem out there double checking me. Thanks, buddy.
I love it, laser eyes. Especially when you're making me right. I like being right with Paul.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Tanya's probably keeping score.
Of course I am. 2.
All right.
2, baby. I'm kidding. All right, guys. We're here every other Tuesday morning, unless there's something big, and sometimes not even then, because we got vacations and things to do. We got people to see.
We have a life, people.
We have a life outside. Anyway, go back and check out any of our past episodes if you would like to see what else we've got out there on any of the platforms where you get your podcast. Watch us at your convenience, because we are also not only live but taped as well. Go check out Paul or my personal LinkedIn pages and offer suggestions. Connect with us. We love to hear what your ideas are out there so that we can actually bring them to the show the following time. And guys, we know that you've got plenty of things you could be doing today. Other places you could be getting your information as far as this new SOP. But we're glad you're here. So talk at you later. See you in a couple weeks.